for God's sake.
Every time.
I thought we were still chatting. I didn't know you were pressing buttons.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Blether. We just had a couple of technical issues to sort out there. So, as always, we catch Cat in the Hot with a cup of tea in her mouth, and it's just part of the final preparation routine, isn't it? Before we get going, Blether.
You can't have a blether without a cup of tea.
See, I'm just on the water today. I've had a dicky tummy all day, so I'm out on tour tomorrow as well. So we're going to stay sensible and pray that that's over. A 24-hour thing, I'm sure. But just on the good old H2O, which, yeah, it's not bad up here, is it? We get good water up here. Makes good whiskey and all that.
Exactly.
And Dave's on the same. Is it a sober night for everyone? Dave Ferguson on YouTube, he has new make spirit. It's water.
Water hasn't quite got to the whiskey stage yet. Well, everybody's been very sensible. I know Calum's just jumped on our evening whiskey drinkers. Well, not yet. We haven't got any whiskey drinkers so far. Whiskey appreciators.
Whiskey appreciator, yeah. I can appreciate that there is sometimes a time where we don't have to drink whiskey.
Exactly.
When that time is, we're not sure. But there will be a time when it comes. Guys, we've got a great evening lined up for you tonight. We've got one of our newest independent bottlers in Scotland, the good Dram Good Company, bottlers of Glaschu, and I'm going to get slated by our Gaelic friends for mispronouncing that. I was told by Paul, I think Glaschu maybe, or a Glaschu. The glass shoe, maybe that's a Cinderella affair there. Maybe not. Okay, we're setting the tone for what kind of rambling I'm going to be doing tonight. Kat, how are you? Let's move on from me. How are you?
I am good, thank you. We've had an interesting week. We've had the Whisky magazine over at the distillery, so that's been fun watching all that happening. We've had lots of filming being done, so watch out for it on the Whisky magazine's YouTube. You'll get to see some fun things happening at Glengarry, all things Ardray being spoken about, which is, we spoke to Steph and Richard a couple weeks ago about Ardray, so have a look at that. So not too bad. Also, just because every week I usually ask anybody to help me with jobs at home, if we have any doctors on, could you tell me why my finger is really swollen and black? Thank you very much. Just get that out of the way. I've never asked if he's a doctor before on this thing. I think we've had all sorts of plumbers and plasterers and all sorts, but I don't know if we've got any doctors on. Give me a shout if you
are. Callum is saying there's never a time to not drink whiskey, which is probably 9 times out of 10 very true. David Muir.
Maybe sobriety meetings might be the time not to do it, but other than that.
David says you've got dippy fingers, Kat.
It's one very dippy finger, yeah.
Who else? Well, David Muir also says his friend's rum release is pending, so he's on the exploration rum tonight from McNair's. Obviously, McNair's by Billy Walker's team, Glenalky, they do some rum. Awesome stuff. Ryan H, watching on YouTube. Good evening, Ryan. Finally managed to catch a live stream. Good on you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome along. Feel free to ask and comment as much as you like, and that goes for everyone, of course. Let us know what you guys are drinking. Kat, are you having a whiskey tonight, or are you just on the tea?
No, I do. I got, in honor of Megan, featuring on BBC News on the start of the week. Don't know if you caught her on that. She did really, really well. So I brought out my Woodrose. I've got my Williamson, as you can see. It's a favourite, so there's not a lot left in there, but that's the one I've brought out for tonight because she did an awesome job.
She did. And Rachel as well from Fragrant Drops. I'm not sure she was on the BBC, but she was certainly in the article. That was.
Yeah. It's cool.
Right. Talking of indie bottlers, let's set us up nicely. Let's get our guests on. Paul and Julian should be coming in just about now. Yeah, just got you halfway through a swig there, Paul. So we're just going to make it clear to everyone at home. Paul is on the right of your screen as you're looking. Yeah, there's Paul, and there's Julian with the white t-shirt. There's just like your names are the other way around, just in case people get confused. But I'm sure we will get.
This always happens to us.
It's fine. People get me and Mike confused all the time as well.
It's the hair. Yeah, it's definitely the hair. Good evening, guys. Thanks so much for joining us and coming along and giving up your Thursday evening to spread the word of Glaschu spirits. And Paul, I remember when you were in the shop the other day, you did tell me how the Gaelic community would pronounce it, but you guys are going with Glaschu, I think, right?
Yeah, that's it. No, you got it right. The Gaelic community are quite cutthroat when you say our name wrong. So yeah, I don't think we still really know.
I don't think anyone knows.
I think it's Glaschu, but we just say Glaschu because it's easier.
Yeah, Glaschu is a lot easier to say.
Yeah.
Glaschu. Yeah, Glaschu. You could have a label on that, like a cow made out of glass or something.
Yeah, that could be cool. But just the Cinderella, Glaschu.
Glaschu. Yeah, there we go.
And that is Gaelic for Glasgow. Am I right with that?
Yes.
Yeah. Which would lead to the next question: where are you guys based? Well, I'm assuming
Glasgow. Yeah. So we're both on the west end of Glasgow. We're currently in Paul's flat in Thornwood. I stay like 20 minutes away as well, so we're both quite close.
Awesome. Good stuff. I hope it doesn't cause a rivalry, but I'm a member of the East City Whisky Club as well, so hope there's not an East and West kind of divide.
Nah, of course.
As long as it's whiskey, everything's shared. We won't go into football or anything like that tonight.
No, we're not football fans anyway, so that makes life a lot easier.
Boys, I was going to have to see an interest for about half an hour.
I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Good. Got you on. What we want to do? Just let's talk indie bottling. Let's talk whiskey. Let's talk you guys. We'll cover a lot of stuff. And guys at home, we want to hear from you as well. Ask as many questions as you wish. Apologies if we don't get around them all. We'll do our very best. We're pretty good at scrolling back up. So let's get interactive and ask loads of questions about independent bottling. So guys, Kat's gone, and she's back. When did it all start for you? When did the idea of doing your own whiskey company pop into your head?
All kind of started in first lockdown 2020. Paul and I used to work together. We actually met in college studying aircraft engineering. Then we went on to university together, and then we ended up getting jobs in the same company together as engineers. In lockdown, people weren't really flying, so the aircraft industry kind of took a dip. We were out of work for a long time, and we turned to the drink in a good way. Paul had the whiskey knowledge, so he was always recommending me stuff to try and to buy, and this is a good value for money bottle, and this might go up in value. And then he introduced me to indie bottlings as well, and we kind of from there found that there wasn't really a one-stop shop just for indie stuff at the time. So that kind of led us on to starting Damn Good Drams, and we reached out to a couple of our other indie brands that we liked and just said, hey, can we buy some bottles and then sell them on? And that led to us eventually saying, hey, why don't we start our own one here? This is quite good.
Yeah,
and then
this could be quite fun.
Yeah. Awesome. And then our first Glaschu release came out in September 22.
Yeah, so we're the Glaschu's been around for 18 months.
Yeah.
So fairly new. But in that time, we've powered through the releases. I think we've had 12 out now.
Yeah, this is 11 and 12. Right
11, yeah, 12, and then we've sold out of the first 5. So yeah, it's going. Yeah, we're just powering through them, trying to get as much on shelf as possible.
Yeah, we always look for kind of stuff that isn't around already or hasn't been done before. like interesting and unique. I know everyone kind of strives to go for that, but we're always looking for the most kind of crazy cask or something that, oh, we've never seen this before. That sounds really cool. So it started off with our first one was a Blair Athol in Jamaican rum. I was like, oh, I've never seen a rum cask Blair Athol before. So that was a good first one that we did.
That went well. And and then from there just carried on with the cask finishes. So we'll either like finish them ourselves or we'll buy them already in casks.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
You've managed to get your hands on some pretty exciting spirit as well. You had a couple of glasses, Tom and Towel as well. Which is I haven't done a big reveal there. It's one of your latest ones, isn't it? Quite excited. And these are distilleries that you don't often, they're out there, but you don't see very often in independent bottling.
Yeah. It's like part of us as well coming into the industry, like we had zero contacts whatsoever, none. So like getting casks was quite hard, especially well-priced casks. So we had to kind of spin it in a way where we would get stuff that people kind of overlook and then put a cool finish on it. So like Julian said, like Blair Athol and rum, we had like an unnamed Glengoyne that we finished in PX Sherry. We've got a Tom and Tool, so all that stuff.
Macduff's.
Yeah, we've got Macduff coming out. So yeah, it means that we've got to do a lot of market research, and that generally means drinking loads of whiskey.
Yeah,
it's a hard life, right?
Yeah, someone's got to do it.
You've got an interesting Ard layer as well that I spotted on your website that is definitely going in my basket later tonight. That looks like a lot of fun, that one.
18 months and first fill Santa Emilion red wine.
Yes.
Yes, you don't often see Ard layers. I work for the company that owns Ardmore, and you see Ardmore a lot being released as an indie, but you don't often see Ard layer. The first time I saw somebody release Ard layer was you, Mike, actually, it was part of your Stone Circle.
Technically, it wasn't an Ard layer because it was they couldn't call it Ard layer. They called it Cold Rain, which is a hamlet. So it was Duncan Taylor released an octave, and so Duncan Taylor based in Huntly, Ardmore Distillery in Kennethment. So halfway between the two, from where it was distilled and where it was bottled, there's a hamlet called Cold Rain. So they named it after that. So we did two octave releases from them, which was really nice. I love the guys who watch us regularly will know how much I like Ardmore Spirit in Ard layer in single cask or indie bottling form. So yeah, like Kat, that one will be coming home with me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an underrated spirit, I think, because like the one that you get at Tesco's, the Legacy, isn't always the best. But then every time I've tasted like independent bottling of Ardmore or Ard layer, it's been class. The spirit is so good.
Yeah. I'm so glad that I don't have to say that this week, because Kat gets annoyed with me because obviously she works with the company.
It's not that I get annoyed, it's just that I can't voice an opinion and I want people to stop talking about it very, very quickly. But Ard layer, our internets are like clashing each other. I think Ard layer and red wine would be amazing because Ard layer and port is absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I'm really excited about trying that. Really, really interesting. Do you find it difficult? Do you find like with some of the lesser known brands that you're having to maybe push that a bit more because it's maybe just not the most obvious brand to people? Because like with Ardmore, even I find that Ardmore is one of those ones you have to really maybe explain to people. Like, it is quite a well-established distillery. It's been going for a long time. It's not new. Ard layer you don't ever see on the shelf. Does that take a little bit more work?
I don't know, because the Ard layer's done pretty well, to be honest. It's going quite quick.
Yeah.
The ones that's like taken a lot longer to go are like our unnamed ones. Like we've got an Isla single malt that is a distilled near Lake Lafroig, Loch Lafroig. Can't say what it is, obviously, but because of that, it takes longer to sell because people don't know it's an Isla single malt. Like, what could it be? The same with the Glengoyne that Paul mentioned earlier. That was a Highland single malt as well. Couldn't say it was a Glengoyne on the bottle.
But as soon as we're at festivals or tastings or stuff, when we mention it, obviously it goes they sell, but it's like hard to convey when you're told that you can't say what a cask is.
It's quite interesting that people, it's still, I think it's getting better, but still people are kind of relying on that brand name or distillery name to inform their choices. There's just that. I don't think it's a lack of trust, but there's just, I mean, if we're spending a lot of money on a bottle, we want to know what's in it, right? So we completely get it. But there is that reassurance that, okay, this is maybe a single malt Williamson or something like that makes sure that people know what it is. I guess there's plenty of clues. It's just on the label you can't say it, or maybe the website you can't say it. But you can tell people face to face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and we do. Yeah, we tell absolutely everybody. Yeah, it's like you can't tell anybody what it is. Yeah, no, we tell everybody. So we just don't post it online.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Callum was in the Island Spirit Whiskey shop in Stornoway last week, and he said there was an excellent selection of Glaschu spirits on their shelves.
nice. Okay.
So Callum's one of our regular guys when he's not on the City Whiskey Club on a Thursday night tasting. He comes along and gives us abuse and some great pointers. And another question from Chris, which is quite an interesting one. Given that you're quite new to the game, I suppose, how do you choose what to bottle? You might love it, as in you might love it. You guys think it's really good, but then you always have to think, hold on, what do the audience like? So where do you have a balance there, or is it just, no, we love it, we're going to bottle it?
Both, I think.
There is a little bit of both. Like say, because we've done quite a few red wine releases, we've said, right, let's not do another red wine straight away. It's things like that. Like we don't want to just hammer our customers with lots of sherry or lots of port. Like we want to vary it a little bit and keep it interesting.
But there is also some things like, obviously, when you see you want to buy and bottle. There's also loads of things that we see and we want to buy and bottle, but they're too much and they don't really work for bottlings. That's just how it is. But like in general, we kind of just bottle things that we would want to drink, I think. Like if I wouldn't want to sell anything that I wouldn't want to drink myself, really. I don't think it's good to kind of operate that way. Because if you don't believe in your product, then you're not going to sell it. Yeah. Really. So yeah, but we try and I think one thing that we talked about, we've actually not released a lot of sherry casks. We've released 2, I think.
Yeah, it's because they're all so expensive.
Yeah, but they're expensive, but also like everybody does a sherry. There's always a sherry. There's always this, but like we've got a Tom and Tullen Marsala or a Burnside and Amarone red wine or Madeira, and stuff like that. Like we kind of vary it up, and it surprises people, I think, because people are like, "Oh, I've not had a Marsala whiskey or a Madeira," and then they try and love it. So
cool. Yeah, that's good. It's finding that balance, isn't it? What's good and what will sell, I suppose. And if it's good and sells, then even better.
Yeah. It's gotta be interesting. Like that's our remit. Like it's like I think we've only done one ex-bourbon, and that was that Isla single malt, because we tried it from the cask sample and thought, okay, this doesn't need anything. This is already interesting enough.
It's too good.
It's 15 years old. Like we'll just leave it as it is.
Yeah.
But other than that, we do kind of look for stuff that's finished, fully matured, or could do with a little finish to kind of amp it up a bit.
In terms of finishing, how do you make that choice of finishing though? Like, so you kind of tried the spirit, you think, it's not quite there yet. I mean, if you just got like a selection of casks that you have that you think, well, I think that one might work in there, or you do actively look for a cask, think, okay, I think this one's going to suit wine, or I think it's going to suit rum. Like, what's the process behind, choosing your finishing cask?
Like when we started, so we bought casks that were already being finished just because we needed something now. But now that we've got a wee bit more time, you just kind of put it in and then wait and try it. Like our Glengoyne that we bottled, the unnamed Glengoyne, we did in sherry, and we tried it at 6 months, and we're like, no, he's a wee bit longer. Tried it at 8 months, and we're like, hey, that's really good. Let's not like leave it any longer. So then we just bottled it there.
Because the plan was 12 months.
12 months. And we were like, no, this is really good. And everybody tried it and loved it and sold out. So
I'd say that was our most popular one, to be honest.
Yeah. So that went well. But there's not really any signs.
It's just trial and error. It's just try a wee bit, see if it's good. Like, is the colour good? Like, yeah.
Do you know, a lot of good whiskies or great whiskies have just been like luck and, you know, chance a lot of the time. A lot of distilleries would tell you that, but I think a lot of them are just luck and chance of, oh, what was that cask at the back of the warehouse? Bloody hell, that's actually really good. We forgot about it. That's amazing.
Great marketing team, you can cover up all the stories with the permutation and Ardnagurk funky names and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. In terms of like branding and marketing, like your labels are really, really cool. Like that sort of 1930s kind of poster vibes. I mean, I haven't had a look at all the labels properly to work out if there's like, are they, yes, there you go. So do they link into the distillery or are they just like really nice pictures?
Sometimes they do. Those are our kind of core range, we'll call it, because we have our Havelock spin-off series as well. But on our kind of core range ones, it's always some sort of mechanical marvel of Scottish engineering. So it'll be like, for example, that one there, the Tommen tool, which is a brand new release. This is like some of the first people to see it. Actually, we haven't launched.
You can plug. Honestly, you just plug away for a good 5 minutes because we forgot to mention these are new releases, guys. So just you get on that for 5 minutes.
Do you want to tell the story of the Tommen tool?
Yeah, so that one, not a lot of people know that one of the very first people to fly or float in the world was a Scotsman or a Scottish person. Basically the first people were French, so I can't remember his name, but eventually came over to Scotland, and this guy basically
Scots-Italian, right?
No, that was the third guy that perfected it. Who's on this balloon. But the second person to ever fly in the world was a Scottish person, and this is basically harking back to that time of him flying over Glasgow and Edinburgh. That particular balloon, though, was from a guy called Vincenzo, I think.
Vincenzo Lunardi
in 1758. And he had this big fancy balloon. He did it in a very Italian way. It was green, pink, and gold. And he flew over Edinburgh and Glasgow. And he went up to I think it was 3,000 feet or something consistently.
And it was the first flight from Scotland to England as well, 1785 or so.
Yeah, so
a long time ago.
That's him flying over.
And we picked St Mungo's Cathedral, Glasgow Cathedral, on there because Lunardi's Grand Air Balloon was actually showcased in there for a couple of years, I think in the 1800s or something.
Yes, yeah. So all of them have a hidden back meaning and story.
That's really cool. So can people find that out if they do you link to that on the website, or do you hint to that, or is that just people who are curious? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's always some little Easter eggs that you only find out when you're sort of in person and you're chatting to us. But we can do the next one. So this is our other new release. We've got a double whammy. It's a 12-year-old Burnside, which is a teaspoon Balvenie. So it's 99.9% Balvenie and a teaspoon of Glenfiddich to make it Burnside. And this is finished for how long?
2 years.
2 years? 2 years in Amarone wine, so an Italian wine. And the feature on this one is the third oldest subway system in the world, the Glasgow subway. So this is how it might have looked back then. We kind of found some old pictures and our designer recreated it. And there's even a little Glasgow Spirits Co. poster on the wall in the subway tunnel.
Yeah, and that's the poster of our very first release on our bottle.
So it is.
Hidden meanings for the owners as well.
You know, if you hadn't told us you were engineers, we probably all would have guessed about halfway through that first description.
Engineers or...
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
You know, engineers are my least favorite people to take out on tour because you guys will always look at stuff that I know nothing about. Like you'll point out valves and pipes and oh yeah, so is that the such and such? I'm like, I don't know, ask me about the shiny thing. I don't know what you're looking at.
I don't know if we were particularly good engineers because we get kicked out. So
yeah, the terrible.
yeah, so we don't really look at that stuff anymore.
Oh dear.
But it led to better things, so it's all good.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Would there be an idea to put engineering into play and maybe a distillery in the future, or?
Yeah, that would be the plan.
I'd say that's always the grand plan at the end, but we need a couple more pennies to do that.
Yeah, need to sell a couple more bottles of Glaschu.
Yeah.
Well, I think Willis has just bought one, and I'm definitely going to buy one next because now I've got fear that the Ardler is going to be sold out by the end of this chat. So, like, we're
distillery there.
Yeah, paid for like a couple of paving stones at least, anyway.
Yeah. So, wow, Willis. But get us in touch with Willis. Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Willis.
Willis was on our. So we run a Whisky Academy twice a year where we get people from all over the world. Willis was on our second academy a couple of years ago, and part of the tour or part of the experience is getting in behind the scenes at Ardmore. And I think if you can zoom into his profile picture on the Facebook there, that's him holding the bunghammer in Glengarry.
It is. It's not what you know, it's who you know, Willis? I got you.
Nice.
And he will be at Dram Busters tomorrow. Are you guys going to be there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, right.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're doing a tasting there tomorrow. It's an in-person tasting. I think it's about 70 people.
Oh wow!
So yeah, we're bringing all of the newest, all of the range. We've got them lined up back there as well. So yes, that'll be good.
Yeah, so we'll see you there with us.
Yeah, make sure you introduce yourself. Say hello.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
You'll
awesome.
get the full spiel of the other releases there too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I know I want to find out about all the labels now. I'm going to have to come along. I want a full account of every single label. It's pretty cool.
It's always fun, like thinking up the idea and like, oh, we've got this cast bottle. What are we going to do the label on? And sometimes, as you asked, is there a tie back to the distillery? Sometimes we do. So with the Glengoyne label, because we couldn't say Glengoyne on the label, we had to be a bit more creative with the artwork. So it was the Flying Scotsman train going along the old West Highland Way, which used to be a railway line. Now it's obviously a walker's path, but it goes right in front of Glengoyne Distillery.
Yeah.
And at the back of Glengoyne, there's a hill that's quite distinctive looking. It's called Dumgoyne. So we've got Dumgoyne in the background, and then in the sky, a V of geese, because Glengoyne means Valley of the Geese in Gaelic.
That's cool. That's just making me think of my ridiculous statement when I went to speak to Glengoyne at a conference last week and said, I love your branding. I love all the goose leaves you've got in the box. And she's like, do you mean feathers? I'm like, yes, feathers.
Goose leaves.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna steal that.
It'd been a long day, but yeah. We've got Ryan saying how much he loves Namarone cask as well, so that's really cool. I love what are they called? Aaron's Amarone. It's lovely. It's not a cask you see a lot of, but yeah, it's good.
I think I don't know, we do one a year. Our last shop exclusive was a Madeira, our thrust Madeira, David, which is a beautiful kind of sweet note, kind of. And I love the fact that guys are quite confident, just not just in bottling, but also in consumers as well. They're quite confident to try a wine cask or something that's out with their comfort zone. Yeah, they'll go and take a punt on it.
I think the wine can be quite divisive, though. Like I hear it quite a bit, like just working at the distillery and even in the shop. Like for every person that loves a wine finish, there's that one person that's always like so anti wine. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Wine, I guess, because there's so many brands, and I get a lot of the names are maybe French or German, or Italian. People don't really know what they are, and they don't know if it's wine or what kind of wine it is, and maybe it puts them off a little bit. But I don't know what it is about wine that kind of still divides people. Do you see it much yourselves, or have they done all right for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've thought about this quite a lot. So we've released quite a lot of wine casks because we like wine casks, and we've got a couple more coming out. But I think subconsciously, hear me out here, this might sound weird, but people kind of want whiskey to be sweet. So that's why a lot of people like sherry and they like a sweet bourbon. But sometimes wine isn't always sweet. It can be quite dry. Like the cask has all the tannins and things like that. And I think it sometimes confuses the taste buds a wee bit, where it's like, oh, the colour is dark and I was expecting this to be sweet, but it's quite dry and bitter. But I like that taste sometimes. And I mean, the Amarone's, I don't think it's dry at all. I think it's very sweet. It's definitely winey and punchy, but it is a bit divisive, I think. 100%. I don't know what you think about that, but that's my
psychologically as well. I think if people don't like wine, as soon as you say a wine finish, they just think of like a table wine, and they're like, oh, I don't drink wine, I'm not going to like it. And as soon as they have that idea in their head, they're kind of set up almost not to like it before they even try it. But yeah, I think you maybe have something there as well. It's like you can have that very dryness in the back of the palate because of the tannins, but you get that with peat a little bit as well. So I don't know, it's maybe just I guess it's just trying to get people to try it before you tell them what it is, so they don't have any preconceived ideas.
Yeah.
But I love a wine finish. I love whiskey. I love wine. Like, to me, like, what's to go wrong there?
Goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Peat wine finishes as well, like peat and wine and peat and port, and I really we really like red wine finishes. So we're not going to stop anytime soon.
That is good.
Ardmore in a port cask, just sublime.
Okay.
Have a look.
That sounds good.
Get the scouts out. Is it just the two of you, or is there anyone else in the team that kind of helps you source casks around?
Just us.
Just the two.
Just us. So we were working full time, and basically for a couple of years, and then it was only like last week that we're both now on it full time. So I packed in the job, and now we're both selling whiskey full time. So
now we're both unemployed.
Unemployed whiskey drinkers. My mum's so proud.
You're living the dream.
Yeah.
Well, she'll be watching tonight. She put a comment on saying, "There's my boy."
No, but
So Dram Busters tomorrow for a tasting evening. And
yes.
What else have you got coming up this summer that people might be able to see you at?
So diary's filling up fast. We've got a couple things booked for the start of May already, and then mid-May's kind of booked. We've got something.
And we've got the Food and Drink Festival in Glasgow.
Food and Drink Festival in Glasgow at the end of May. That's a 4-day slog, so that'll be big. And then we're just starting to book up a couple of dates in early June, and then it's surprising how fast the diary can fill up. So
a lot of like in-store tastings and not so many festivals per se. I don't think.
Not a lot of festivals, but we're wanting to do more in-store tastings because it can be better. We sell more bottles.
And like small festivals are nice. Like they're a bit more intimate. Like we've done big festivals before, and it's almost like you're saying the same thing 1,000 times over, and people aren't even listening to you anymore. It's just like a conveyor belt. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Halfway through a festival, it's just pretty much drunk people coming, and they've got no idea what they're putting in their face. You're just like, you know what, have it. On you go. Yeah. It is always good fun though. I do love festivals, but you do wonder, like, you do feel like you've just said the same thing to the same person. And you kind of lose momentum a little bit. But there's so many festivals just now as well. It's like, how do you choose? There's a lot of whiskey festivals out there. So many. Like, how do you choose which ones to go to?
A lot. I mean, we definitely still go. We'll go to festivals and like support people that have kind of like supported us. Like if it's a shop, like we've been to a load of really good ones. And we're going to continue doing them. There's no question about that. But there's just so many big ones that we just honestly, like you could go to one every single weekend, and it's like we are saying, you're pouring out whiskey to drunk people, and that's fine if you're part of a distillery and you can kind of afford to waste the liquid. But every single bottle to us that we pour out is profit that we lose, and we don't want to be doing that, to be honest. So we're very selective.
And where we go.
You gotta be, So, but it's getting busy. Have you guys ever done a festival, or will you?
We've done. There's a local one, Taste of Grampian. Aberdeen. Well, it used to be in breweries nowadays. It's more of a food and drink festival. But no, we've never done a whiskey festival. We've been to them as punters, but no.
They're great to go to.
Oh yeah, the other side of the table is great.
I always find the last couple I've been to that it's like you pay your ticket and you go in and I end up having like 5 drams because I just talk to people instead, and it's just like really should have got more for my money there. I should have. It's hard to go as a punter when you know a lot of the people behind the stands.
Yeah, you've got to keep the professional face on. Yeah. I'm actually going to a tequila festival on Saturday.
All right,
that'll be good. That could be dangerous. So me and my girlfriend are heading along. It's like down the Clutha way, so I'm really looking forward to that. Being on the other side. So
let's see what a tequila festival is like.
A tequila festival could be very messy.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, it does sound dangerous. Yeah.
I'll imagine it's not just Jose Cuervo and Sousa and stuff like that, though. It'll be proper.
I hope not.
Proper tequila.
Yeah,
I love proper tequila that's been aged properly and matured nicely, rather than just a shot and slam kind of idea. That tough in Scotland to get over that. You go into a bar and you say, "Oh, what kind of tequila have you got?" And folk are like, "What do you mean? We've got gold or white," and that's about it.
Or tequila rose, the yogurt. Yeah. Like
so, got any tequila finishes waiting to come out? We were speaking to Glasgow Distillery last week, and I've got their tequila finish one. It's really unusual. I liked it. It's got like this kind of really kind of sweet lemon kind of flavor in there, and like a weird kind of grassy kind of green banana kind of sticky. You know that thing that sticks to your teeth? It kind of just feels like it's still there after you've swallowed it. That kind of weird vibe. I'm not selling it. Sorry, Glasgow Distillery. But I actually really.
Wait.
I just can't get it out of my mouth. Get out of my mouth. No, it's really, I really enjoyed it. I like it.
Okay.
I mean, you've been
it works.
Finish for ages.
Kind of got off them. I was like, we
were dead certain we were going to do it.
Yeah, but no, I don't think it's. I don't know. I've not had one that I'm like, oh, this is really good. I think they could be good, but I think there's going to be an influx of tequila casks in the next couple of years from distilleries and bottlers.
Because I mean, we know someone that bought 100 tequila and mezcal casks.
Yeah, they were just gone. People are buying them left, right. So be ready.
But I'm saying that he bought 100 and like only 30 of them were good to use.
Oh yeah,
because they were all janky and like really poor quality. And he was like, "We can't use these; they're useless." Yeah. I think he was going to take them to a cooperage and see if they could fix it, but
probably.
I'd be raging.
Yeah, I think it's just not the same kind of quality control over there.
70% injection rate. That's all.
Yeah. So if you're buying tequila casks in bulk, buy double.
Yeah,
Make sure you know a good cooper.
Yeah, use the rest as firewood.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. But what do you guys kind of look for and stuff now? Are you guys drinking the same? Like, do you kind of just stick to sherry and port and things, or do you like go out and look for things that are kind of different and interesting?
For me, it's always about. There's a combination, obviously, having the shop. It's we're looking at what is maybe a bit on trend. And sherry's kind of one of these. It's always on trend. Bourbon's come back, especially refill bourbon. I think it's coming back because people understand more and more about how whiskey's made and how it's matured. I think they're looking for that character of the spirit kind of thing. They're quite keen on a bourbon, although it's maybe quite light. Those kind of barriers are getting knocked down. But I love the Whiskey Heroes range that Brave New Spirits just took out, and they're quite open. It's just bourbon, just sherry. We're just going classics. We're not going to do wine. They've got other brands under their belt that can do that. As a drinker, I'm always keen to try something. You had a wonderful dark rum cask finish. Ardmore, funnily enough, from Fragrant Drops. The other
theme of
which was fantastic. Really good dram. So So yeah, I'm quite a bit of a tart when it comes to distilleries and finishes. I might not like them all. Some wine casks can be a bit tart for me, but yeah, I'll give it a bash.
Yeah.
Kat?
What were you, Kat?
Well, I think everybody knows that I'm not a massive sherry fan. I struggle. I do not have a sweet tooth, so I'm usually a refill bourbon because I like when you can taste the house character. Like I like to kind of get behind, like find out what the whiskey is. But yeah, I don't stick to a brand so much. I think I'm relatively new in my whiskey journey. I've only kind of been in whiskey for about 6 years, so I like kind of trying new things. I love playing around with indie bottlers as well, like yourselves. No, there's so many good indies out there just putting out fun, interesting, affordable things, because that's the other thing, you know, we don't all have the money to be spending on expensive bottles of whiskey. So yeah, it's got to be that balance between wanting to try something different but also being affordable so that you can try it and share it with pals. But I usually always go for a refill bourbon over most other things.
Yeah.
And I like my Isla ones. I do like my Isla ones. I'm a West Coast fan.
Nice.
Yeah.
There was, we know, I can't remember who it is, but it's a bottler that basically will only age something in refill bourbon, and if it's not good in refill bourbon, then he won't bottle it at all, just because he thinks that, you know, if it's not good in refill bourbon, then it won't be good whiskey. I think you can make a better tasting whiskey if it's bad spirit and really good wood, because most of the taste comes from the wood, obviously. But I think if you've got a bad cask that you finish it in, it's never gonna really be that good. So I think instead of like looking at different types of, you know, flavors and like, is it Marsala or is it like tequila or something, it's kind of the quality as well to look at. Like, is it actually a good Marsala or is it actually a good tequila? Because that makes a difference. So
yeah, definitely.
I think there's a big difference between bad whiskey and whiskey you don't like.
Yeah.
You can not like a whiskey because it's not to your taste. It doesn't mean it's a bad whiskey. But I think if it's a bad whiskey that you come across, most people would be like, yeah, not a fan of that. Don't like that. And there's a kind of running theme that there's maybe something off about it. It might be in the cask. It might be too young or whatever.
Is it not the saying, there's no bad whiskey, some are just better than others?
Yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah, we've tried some bad ones.
I think maybe some releases are bad. I think generally we all know what we're doing enough that we're all making a quality spirit, but sometimes maybe they release something that's not as good as it could have been, just to maybe fill up the ship.
In the wrong way, yeah, definitely.
Timing's everything as well.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and turn my heating off because I'm absolutely roasted, and obviously, you know, expensive. I'll be back in a second.
It's the hamster in the house can't keep the heating and the internet going at the same time.
Working overtime.
So what is it you're dramming up? Is it that the Burnside and the Tom and Towel that you're sampling tonight?
That one was the Tom and Towel we just had.
Yeah, so that's actually the first time that you've tried it.
Yeah, first time I've seen the bottles as well.
Yeah, because Julian's been away. So this is the first time that we've tried the finished product.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so,
I was hoping to try the samples tonight, but I'm not going to go into details, but my belly hasn't been up to scratch today. So
yeah, it doesn't get any worse. It's 50% whiskey.
Definitely not. Especially that too.
No any bug that's in there, though, you know. It's medicinal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll get on that this weekend and let you know. I think I've tried a couple of them. The Hard Layer is really good. Really enjoyed that one. And the Glenglassaugh, which you've now sold out of, the 13-year-old Glenglassaugh.
Yeah.
All done. Actually, I think I've got an open bottle here.
Yeah, that was an interesting label as well. We've seen it. Was the Benny Railplane. So this was a propeller-driven monorail that they actually built in the 1930s in Mulgai, which is like a town just north of Glasgow. It was a prototype, but they built like a 500-meter test track, a working cab, opposing propellers, so one on either side going in opposite directions. And it was meant to be like this luxury kind of high-speed travel alternative that would go above the existing railway lines, but it was wildly expensive and not very maintenance friendly, so they never went ahead with it. Would have been cool though.
It would have been cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like he must have been like the Scottish 1930s Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's what it seems
Just
like.
completely nuts.
You find inventors that's what they do. They invent everything, though, don't they? They don't just have one invention and that's it. They tend to go off and do some. If they get one success, the rest of it tends to be pretty bizarre, weird, and wonderful kind of crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one is sold out. That one. I mean, that cask, we're actually meant to get 340 bottles from that cask, but it turned up to the bottling plant, and we only had 104.
Wow.
The Angels were very greedy.
Yes. We think it was either leaked or been stolen over 13 years. And either way, it's good.
Yeah. If you try to see why it was stolen, like it was very tasty.
How do you guys kind of
Sure.
find a balance? And if you're expecting and you're looking to price a bottle for 300 bottles going out and you only get 100, is that something you have to absorb?
Well, if we wanted to break even on this release, we would have had to make that bottle £300 a pop. Like, it wouldn't have worked. So we make a loss we made a loss on every one we sold, but it was still an amazing release. We were happy to have it.
It must be quite gutting every time you sold one. You're like, and there's another tenner down the drain. It's
yeah, just some of the joys of being a bottler.
Yeah, that's it. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, but I mean, there was actually this bottling. It was going to go wrong from the start because it's 13 years old. Bad number. The Benny Rail plane was a failure.
Yeah,
that never got off the ground. That never worked. So the cask bottled, it was going to be a loss. So the whole thing is fucking cursed at this point. But, so slash to that. But it was good. So, I'll get you a sample of that and you can, so you can try them.
I've actually got the fear because that's somebody else, David, who's just bought the Ard Layer. I mean, like how many, just like as an average, how many bottles came out of that cask? Just so I can write that down.
Don't get good numbers for that layer.
Yeah,
304? No, 280.
There was altogether.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 280 altogether. I think there's just shy of 100.
Yeah, there's about 100 left. Yeah.
Okay.
You're like 80 or something.
Yeah, maybe about 90, 98 or 97.
If you miss out, Kat, I've got an order, so you can get from me later.
Awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, get some more samples. So
we were just toasting the failure of that spirit there, and David Muir's just failed as well. He's bought the Ard Layer, but noticed he sent it to his son, so it must have been an automatic.
Oh, that'll be a nice surprise.
Yeah. Happy days. David, you are kind beyond words.
If you accidentally send me one as well, like that's okay.
We'll PM you the address, David, just to add it in onto your card. Got quite a few guys just saying hello on YouTube. Got James. Good afternoon, James over in across the pond. We've got Rob, Ryan, Pete Head came in a wee bit late, and Tim Powell's as well. Just saying hello to all you guys who are watching. Chris Brand with another little bit of information for you, maybe a consideration for a label in the future. The Aberdeen has the largest single-span granite bridge in the world. If you want to feature that in a label,
all right.
Nice. I'm writing that down.
We've hidden it under a shopping centre, so I think that's the one under the Trinity Centre, isn't it? Where the train goes through under Union Street.
It's the what? It's the largest granite bridge in the world.
Yeah.
Good.
Wow, that's interesting.
And it's under a shopping centre.
That's what it's built for. It's built to hold up shopping centres.
All right. Okay.
Why else would you build the biggest bridge in the world?
Could you imagine being the guy that built that, and then that's like your biggest achievement, and then some tosser comes along and goes, "That'd be a great place to build a shopping centre."
Well, I think it was meant for the shopping centre.
All right.
It was for shopping, so maybe shops and stuff, but maybe not the shopping centre.
There's actually a lot of people say they're like, "Oh, will you run out of ideas for labels?" We're like, we know, because people give us ideas. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, that's
So many ideas.
yeah, that's an idea. So somebody else
I
had
used,
like,
to, I used to live next to the only bridge that went over the Atlantic. Well, they say it's the only bridge that goes over the Atlantic. So I used to live on an island, and when we went onto the mainland, you have to go across this little bridge, and they say it's the only bridge that crosses the Atlantic. But I don't know how true that is. It's like a little wee humpback bridge.
where was this?
It's so the bridge is on the Isle of Seal. So if you go from Oban, like if you're heading.
Wait, I was there last week. No, two weeks ago.
No, wait, at the Tyne Trush, at the pub,
Yeah.
at the Tyne Trush pub.
Does that go to Ling?
Yeah, so that's my island. Did you go over to Ling?
I went to Ling.
Holy fuck, what were you doing on Ling? Oh my god.
Sorry, this chat has been worth it just for the noise that Kat just made there.
Yeah, I went to Ling. Ling was great.
Ling
mean,
is
there's-
awesome.
Yeah, there's nothing there. It's brilliant.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's cows, and
There's a post office.
Nice.
there is, yeah. So there's
Yeah.
2 villages, and there's the Ling cows, and then there's some cracking beaches. Did you just drive around it?
Yeah, So we went like ferry. Me and my girlfriend we're in Oban. We're in Melfort. Like, what do we,
Yeah.
towns out. And then we're like, oh yeah, let's go to Ling. It's like, yeah, right, let's do it. So went through Seal and all that stuff, and went to Ling, and it was great. Brought the dog. It was a great day.
Yeah.
Nice.
Was there this is gonna be a weird question? Who skippered the ferry? Like, was there a dog on the ferry?
There wasn't a dog, but the guy had a scoop.
It was a dog skipper in the ferry.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The guy. Well, I almost crushed him with my car. I ended up.
Were you right in the front?
Yeah, and I don't know. Nice people, great, and it was.
So did you drive down to Toberonachie, the sort of furthest away village?
Yes, yeah, we.
Yes, you would have gone past the farm on the right hand side. So that's where I was.
No way.
Yeah.
No, that's nuts. That's nuts. Small world. Yeah. So that bridge is the only bridge that goes over the Atlantic.
So they say. Yeah. So they say.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
I know. Awesome. How cool
Yeah,
is that?
I like Ling, and Seal is cool as well.
Yes.
It's a great part of the world. It's nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And Eastdale gets all the attention because they've got their stupid stone skimming competition. But Ling's much better.
Yeah, Eastdale was rubbish when we went.
Some island beef here.
Yeah, there is.
That I was on the TV because they do the World Championships, the World Stone Skimming Championship every year. Oh my God, Callum! One of my ancestors was from Ling. Like, do you know what? Like, screw whiskey. Let's just have like a Ling chat.
Appreciation chat.
Everyone was from. Was Adam and Eve not from Ling? I think that's where they were.
Yeah, I did that as well, actually.
Do you know what it was? Like, God started with Ling, and he's like, do you know what? Nailed it. I'm like, let's just make everything else not as good as this.
The genesis of the world came from Ling.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's nice. I really liked it. One thing that I did realize though is every single road is a single track road, but it's national speed limit, isn't it? So it's all a 60.
I suppose it is actually, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
you'd
people
get
go
around Ling in about 2 minutes if you did it at 60 miles an hour. Like,
yeah, but we were driving along and I was like, right, this is, and then cars, just a trail of cars behind me. Yeah, people are rally drivers in Ling.
yeah, no, it's only one road to be honest. Like, and it's a small road, but yeah, it's an awesome wee place.
Yeah,
It's cool.
yeah. No,
Well, there you go. Sorry, everybody. Just a little Ling.
Yeah, I guess we do.
Tim Powell's has just been online. He never heard of Ling before, but he's going to book himself a wee holiday there now. He's just looked it up.
Now, Tim, if you are doing that, there's some awesome glamping pods that have just been built. You would have seen them when you came. Shout out to the Kadzos. So, like, if you come in up the hill from the ferry and then you look down onto like where the moorings are, and they've got the cool glamping pods, like they're brand new and they're awesome. So check it out. It's called Wildling. Go and have a look.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Moving on. I don't work for them. I'm not making commission.
If we can talk just a little bit about whiskey.
It's so boring and predictable. Whiskey.
You have kind of the is it the damn good spirits, damn good drams? Is that your umbrella company, Glaschu Spirits? Is that going to be like one range of your independent bottling, or because you mentioned you might have another range as well?
So damn good drams, we're still keeping it going. That's mostly for like getting other indies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But Glashu's, we've been focusing on Glaschu the most over the past. Yeah, that's been our like baby basically. We've just been putting all the efforts into that. So
because damn good started, that's how we started basically. But it's really kind of taking a back seat at the moment. We still sell our stuff through there, but for example, we haven't really taken on any other stock for that stock. Like it's just our own Glaschu stuff just now.
Yeah. But it'd be cool to have different ranges. Like we talked about having like a higher end bottling and get boxes and all that fancy stuff. But just now it's going, I think we're happy doing what we're doing really just with Glaschu. Just try and get as many good casks out there as we can.
Yeah.
So, and Julian, you mentioned getting a cask sample of this 15-year-old Isla cask, and you had to bottle it. That's becoming increasingly rare, isn't it, to get a sample of a barrel before you get to choose it? So that's quite a lucky.
So that was solely because we knew who was selling it.
Right.
Because you're right, it is almost impossible to get a try before you buy when you're buying casks, unfortunately. But in this instance, we knew the seller, so they were kind enough, and like we've built those relationships with a couple of people now, so it is more common to get it, but still very hard. Yeah, because otherwise, there won't be much left in the casks after everyone's tried it. Like,
well, exactly. Yeah, it's tricky because you're putting all your kind of trust in this cask, and you think, okay, there's a 13-year-old Glenglassaugh. That sounds amazing. Right, but let's get a chance. We need to buy it now, or else it'll go to the next person. And then obviously you've got that incident with the leakage or the angel share being heavy. So you get that. But if you had a cask where you've bought and it's arrived, you've tasted it, you think there's absolutely nothing we can do with that. And then, so what do you do with that?
Sell it.
All's nodding, great. Yeah.
I would like to say, hold on, actually, that sounds bad. We do sell casks, right?
Yeah.
We've never sold a cask that we didn't like to one of our customers to keep it.
Okay.
Honestly. But we have, just to get it out of our like system, we've like sold it back or to like someone else.
Just to another brokerage again.
Yeah, we've given people samples so they can taste it and all that stuff. Like we're not being dicks about it. We're being honest. It's just we didn't like it. It wasn't for us. And plus, because we're small, like we can't have all this money tied up in a cask that we can't necessarily bottle right now. So we need to offload it. Yeah. If we don't like a cask, it might not be for us, it might be for someone else. Then we just sell it.
The casks that we sell are casks that we want to bottle ourselves ultimately.
Yeah, exactly.
It's we get offered something fantastic and we don't have the cash for it. So we're like, oh, someone else want to buy this, and maybe you hold on to it for 5 years, and down the line we might be able to buy it back. Like it's just kind of keeping our pipeline of casks available.
Yeah. So we've got like a pipeline of casks of good stuff that we're really looking forward to bottling if they let us, if they sell it back to us.
Yeah, and same with like the new make stuff, because we sell a fair bit of new make spirit, and that's obviously not ready for bottling for quite a while. But we'll always make sure that it's something interesting that will be a good bottling, because you see the market's absolutely flooded with the likes of Tully Barton and stuff like that, and Kirkcowan. Like there's loads and loads of those casks on the market, so stay away. But like we recently bought some Auchentoshan spirit, And we thought, okay, there's a little bit of Auchentoshan about it, but it's all ex-bourbon, so let's do something different with it. So we got some first fill Sauternes casks, first fill Moscatel, and first fill Marsala.
Yep.
And then re-racked it into those. So it's from the get-go into those casks and then sold them. So in 10 years' time, there's going to be some fully matured Sauternes Auchentoshan out there, some fully matured Moscatel ones. Like, that's the kind of stuff that we're looking to sell on.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Awesome.
That'll be class.
That would be interesting. You don't see a lot of Auchentoshan released by indies, to be honest.
Yeah.
That would be a bit fun. And then Auchentoshan works well in wine, actually. They've done a couple of their own ones. They did was a Sauvignon Blanc one they did, Mike? You were asking about it the other day for a pal that liked it.
Is this not? It's a Bordeaux wine cask, distillery exclusive.
Oh, it's a distillery exclusive one, yeah.
That's dark.
Yeah, it's really dark.
Yeah.
That'll be Chateau Orange, though, I'd imagine.
This was 2020. This was from when you and Tony went to Isla.
Yeah, and then stopped and passed Occy on the way home.
Oh, it's so tempted to pour it down.
Do it.
It's a Thursday night.
There we are.
It might help kill your virus. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
61.8%. So
There you go.
I'll do it.
1-0. Slange.
Yeah, I think Auchentoshan.
Fun.
I think Auchentoshan is really good. It's one of those whiskies that I feel like sometimes can be underrated. Again, maybe just because of the supermarket stuff. But when you try like a single cask of it, or like a higher percentage bottling, it's always class.
Yeah.
It's so nice and light and fruity, and I think it's just really good.
It's an awesome whiskey. I think it's such a good entry level whiskey. I know sometimes people are like, oh, that's such an insult, but it's not. It's like, if you've got a reasonably priced whiskey that's easy on the palate that you can play around with at home, and then move up to some of like their sort of distillery exclusives. I don't think that's a bad way to get into whiskey, to be honest. I think it's a really good way to find a brand. So yeah, I think, and they've got a really funky distillery. Like, it's such a great tour. I also work for the company that owns Auchentoshan, but like, non-biased though.
One that we haven't mentioned tonight.
We're doing quite well actually. There's only one of the brands we haven't brought up yet. So
Guys at home, if you've been watching since the start, what's the one distillery missing from Cat's portfolio?
Come on, 2 for 3.
I'll give you a clue. They like Aston Martins.
We've got Phil Fraser watching, guys. He's just put on some laughing emojis. I think you worked with Phil on a release.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. We're meeting Phil next week as well. So really looking forward to meeting Phil.
There you go.
Yeah,
right.
That's a class cask. It's really good. We've popped that open, and yes, we will be enjoying that.
I still haven't tried this one, and I see everybody talking about it. Mike, you must have one sitting open in the shop.
We do, but it's down. There's only about that much left in the bottle, maybe. It's in the last couple of tastings we've had, we've showcased it because we like to kind of showcase some of the local bottles or people as well. In the last couple of tastings we've done, it's been top dog in two of the kind of 3 or 2 of the 5 tastings we've had it, which is it's pretty good going. So
yeah.
Good job for you guys and for Flip.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, and the artwork's cool as well. The bottle's nice.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, all those little bits that add extra points onto the bottle. So yeah, but we're meeting Phil next week, so that'll be good. The Scotch Malt Whisky Society, that'll be fun.
Oh, excellent.
There. So
are you there as punters? Are you?
Yes. Yeah. Had some interesting casks from there actually. Have you guys been a lot, or do you go a lot? Or if you can, obviously, like it's a bit far away for you guys, but
yeah, there's the affiliate bar in Aberdeen. The Grill Bar is an affiliate, but I've been in Glasgow a couple of times, down doing courses and stuff, and popped in. I was a member. I bought myself a Christmas present in 2019. for that SMWS membership.
Then
I've never used it. Yeah, I bought 2 bottles, and then everything shut down. I probably could have bought more, but yeah, we're pretty flat out on our own.
Yeah, that happened to me. That was the worst time to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they just we went the other week, didn't we?
Yeah,
It was
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, there's always interesting stuff there. There was like a French distillery. There was a Tennessee one. I had one. I went a couple of weeks ago and I had one. It was like a Tennessee 7-year-old whiskey, bourbon, but it looked purple. It was weird. It was so, I don't know what, I can't remember what cask it was. It was definitely like just bourbon. I think it was maybe like Rechar or something, but it looked purple. It was nuts.
Super black.
Yeah. It was good.
Kat, have SMWS bars, have you frequented them before? Or?
No, not really. I haven't. Not yet. I'll have to. It's on my list of things to do. There's quite a few whiskey-related bars and places I want to go, but whenever I'm in Glasgow or Edinburgh, it's usually usually I've gone down to meet a pal. Like we're usually going out. I always go to Glasgow to meet a pal when I was going to see like a band. I usually kind of stay the night, see the band, and then kind of go away again the next day. So I've got like this list of places I just want to see in Glasgow. So I just need to spend some time and just tick them off and do my whiskey checklist of cool bars and places to go. But not many of my girlfriends are into whiskey, so I'm kind of like just dragging them along. I'm like, oh yeah, let's do another one.
So I hope everyone knows the kind of the pot still and the Bonaccord, the 2 SMWS. Is there anyone else? Big Pipers as well?
Ben Nevis.
The Ben Nevis.
Ben Nevis.
Is that your local? Was it? Both said that in unison. West End.
and shout out to Owen.
Owen at the Ben
Owen
Nevis.
at Ben Nevis. Yeah, it's a class whiskey bar. It's in Finniston. Owen is a big, friendly, gentle Irish giant, and he's great. Loves whiskey. Knows everything about it. I would highly recommend that if anyone's in the West End or in Glasgow. It's really good.
I'm writing
It's
it down.
It's quite close to the Bonaccord as well, so it's good for a little crawl, you know.
Yeah.
You could actually probably walk Ben Nevis, Bonaccord, pot still. I mean, it's a bit of a walk, but
especially if you're zigzagging.
Yeah.
The walk out is good, but walking back is maybe a bit long. I was in the Ben Nevis bar, but it was pre my whiskey career. We have a pub as well in the brewery as a family, so I've been in the bar, but I wasn't really paying attention to the whiskies. So I'll have to go back.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if you're ever down this way, both of you, then give us a shout.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we need to do Ben Nevis.
Ben Nevis do good trad nights as well. I think it's every Thursday and Sunday. They've got trad bands in, and they just play all night basically.
Literally just underlined that now. That's definitely gone. I'm down in Glasgow for the Reeling Festival in June, so I will definitely be as a trad festival. So I'll go and have a look at the band.
I honestly, Julian, I thought you said drag night, and I thought that's
drag.
Drag night at the Ben Nevis.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm there for that too. I'm totally there for that. Like trad, drag. Let's combine it.
Conversation. It was just how casual you were about it.
Great.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Whiskey and drag. That would be a pretty cool night. I think that would be very enjoyable. Whiskey and drag.
I'm sure that's
I think we should.
Niche.
I think so. I think that's untapped, Mike. I think we should bring that to Inverurie. I think that's the place where whiskey and drag can happen.
I think we'll try that in Ling first. That seems to be the happening place.
Drag and a dram. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
I could wear there we are. Trademark.
I'll just have a quick look back on chat. We've got Rick.
Hi, Rick.
He's a wee bit late. He comes from San Francisco, so he's saying he said good morning. I think we're into the afternoon. He's asking just what does Glaschu mean? So Rick, we did talk about at the start. It's the Gaelic for Glasgow is what that means. Chris Brown, what sort of reach have you guys had from apart from Ling, what sort of reach have you had from your bottlings? Are you just UK based? Or are you getting overseas? What's the traction like?
So we are in Netherlands and Belgium. We're trying to get into a few other places, but it's finding the right people to help us get there. Like that's it. You know, we'd love to be everywhere, but it's like we don't really know how to get into this country and that country, and you know, we're always trying to reach out to people, and then we get ignored, and then you know, it's a constant battle. But
yeah, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Like
very
we
much
said,
is.
when we came in, we don't know anybody, so we're really trying to come in, you know, trying to be nice to everybody and see if we can work with each other. But it's difficult. I mean, we were thinking of going to China at the end of the year this year. There was an opportunity to go there, but we've heard the market's maybe not really that buoyant now, so we're maybe thinking somewhere else, Asia. But it's finding the right people, and it's obviously a lot of cost and time and effort if you come up with nothing.
Yeah, Netherlands take a fair bit of our stock all the time.
Yeah. So, but Julian can speak German, fluent German, so we're trying to go Germany in the next couple of months.
Yeah, but again, don't know who to speak to then. I don't know where to start. Like,
leave the airport and speak to everybody.
Can you get my whiskey from here to here?
I'm sure there'll be maybe some people in the chat might pick you up on that. If not, I could certainly. I know a couple of guys who have whiskey bars in Germany, so
Yeah,
see if
it'd be really good.
Alan Smith is on YouTube. He's met you guys at the Funky Booze Festival in Edinburgh.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
He's saying you're very generous with the time they gave to an over-enthusiastic middle-aged man who was full of whiskey.
That's what we did best.
But a lot of practice at that. That's why. No, that was a good festival actually. That was good. It was quite small. It was cold. The church was absolutely Baltic, but it was good. It was good.
That's why everyone was full of whiskey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Warm you up.
Yeah. David said most of your online releases are sold out. Is this due to demand or limited bottling? I guess it's a bit of both, is it?
Yeah, because they're all single cask releases. So I think the biggest one we've ever done was the Glengoyne, which was 360 odd bottles. So they're all like this, for example, sold out in no time because it was only 100. So yeah, they do go reasonably quick. I guess do we start taking some of the sold out ones off the website? It's like,
I don't know. It kind of looks cool though.
it's nice to have them all there so you can see the whole progression, but eventually it will just be flooded with sold outs. Like,
I guess you could have like an archive which has got all your previous bottles.
yeah, do something like that.
Yeah.
That actually ties in. It reminded me of a question Storica Willis asked right at the start. Have you blended any whiskey, or is that something that maybe?
No. So the Burnside is technically a blend because it's a teaspoon malt. So this is our first blend, I say, but it's not something we blended ourselves.
We want to.
Yeah,
We want to, but we need our own place. We're looking at getting our own place as well, and just we can like experiment and stuff like that.
Yeah, we need a handful of casks so we can play around with as well.
And also, like, we've got no experience of blending things properly, so it could go disastrously wrong. We could release something that we think's really cool, and then it could be absolutely awful. But I know, like, turntables, they do a kind of blended thing.
They do really good blends.
Yeah, and they know what they're doing. You know, like.
Ali was taught well. He was under Billy Walker for how many years at Glendronach and Glenallachie. So.
Yeah. So, but it would be cool. I think there's an art to blending, and it takes a long time to learn, I think. So, it would be cool to eventually do that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, watch that space for either something really good or absolutely horrible.
Yeah, just have to try and find out.
Yeah.
Just put inaugural on it and people will buy it.
Yeah.
That's true, actually. Number it, give it low numbers and call it inaugural, and it's going to go.
Yeah.
I think we missed the question from David as well. Maybe you already answered it when I went to turn my heating off, but he was asking if everything was bottled at 50%, I think, further up.
Yes.
Is it all the same?
Yeah, we found that was a nice kind of middle ground between cask strength and your kind of 40, 46s. Like, it's still punchy enough to appease the cask strength diehards.
Easy for you to say.
I know. But it's still it's a bit more palatable for the folk that aren't used to it as well.
Yeah, no, it's a good number. Like 48, 50. I know there's the hardcore ones that just can't see past a cask strength one, but I think every whiskey sometimes whiskeys just sit better at more strength. Sorry, carry on.
No, we get more bottles out of the whiskey or out of the cask, so we
more bottles.
It means more money.
That Glaschu was bottled at like 26%.
Well, our very first release was actually 53, but that was a mistake on part of the bottling plant. They messed it up, and then they came back and it was like, "Oh yeah, it's been bottled at 53. You've got this many bottles," and we're like, "We told you 50%." We had to redo all our labels because they all said 50% on them.
Oh no!
Yeah. Was it a 0.2% leeway? I think you're allowed.
Yeah, but I mean,
we didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, we were going to jump off a bridge by that point. It was just like, just get it done. It was because we had to wait another 3 weeks to get labels, and we already had pre-order, and it was just such a pain.
Yeah.
It wasn't the longest granite bridge in the UK, was it?
No, but if I found out about that.
It's tall. It's very long, but it's not very tall.
Yeah. So yeah, 50% is our thing. We try and keep it at that.
Yeah, we started it now. We're just going to stick to it. Yeah. Although we're going to do the big boy in cask strength, right?
We've got a big boy potentially coming.
Yeah, I've got a big ticket cask.
We'll tell you off camera, but we're doing that at cask strength, 100%. Yeah. It's our biggest release to date. So
awesome. That's
taking a bit of negotiating as well. It's quite something.
Yeah,
it's quite something special.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something for everybody to look out for. Is it coming soon? Can we at least maybe have a date to look forward to? Or
we're going to get bald in May.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
No, it's not happening in May. No. That is quite soon now.
September, probably.
September.
It's August, September.
That's a big difference from me.
Probably later at this point. Because we started trying to bottle these in bloody January. Like that's when and now it only got released in 2 weeks ago. So probably 2026 at this stage, to be honest.
That's the thing. Yeah. Everything takes so long, and then you outsource it, and then people get it wrong, and then we have to do it again. And we really want to be bringing all this in house, and we want to ultimately be doing the bottlings ourselves. Have somewhere where we can store our casks, we can do all the bottles ourselves, do the labels ourselves, pack it, ship it ourselves, put that personal touch on it. Because just now, we're operating out of our flats and having to outsource everything.
Yeah, so it's a lot of plates spinning in the air, I guess, for you guys just now, and still a learning process as well for you both, I'm sure too.
Yeah,
there's a lot of guys who do who are looking at their own premise because it's just a backlog, isn't it, of getting. And the brokers or the warehouses do a good job, but you can imagine how much it's going through them.
But you walk into a warehouse and a small one's 8,000 casks.
Yeah,
that's wild.
My one's the one right at the back and on the top row, is it?
Yeah, maybe not quite that big, but it's a couple of thousand at least, and you're like, Jesus. But they're bottling stuff all the time, so yeah, we need our own place. We've got a couple of ideas.
Cool. That'd be cool. That'd be good. Robert Van Harskamp, probably annihilated your name, Robert. I am so sorry for that. He's saying, "Hi, Paul and Julian."
Yeah, we know Robert.
You know Robert?
Hey, Robert.
He's asking, has he missed something? Burnside. Yeah, you missed the grand reveal of the Burnside launch.
Yeah.
Not launched quite yet, but
It's not been released on Instagram or the mailing
It's probably
list.
going to launch tomorrow, to be honest.
Yeah, so that'll be why. But
You know, the reason this is really silly, the reason why it hasn't been launched yet, because we've always, historically, when we launch one of our releases, it's using like the digital render that our graphic designer gives us of the bottle. Because normally we have that before we have the actual bottles, but in this instance, he's not done that for us yet. So we have the bottles, but we don't have the render. And I don't want to break the tradition. This sounds really OCD. I don't want to break the tradition of releasing it with the render by releasing it with an actual picture all of a sudden. So we have to wait for the render before it gets released.
yeah,
We don't tempt fate, because look what happened to your 13-year-old whiskey with the failed balloon thing and the cask that failed.
yeah.
This is a superstitious industry. We've got to stick to traditions here.
Exactly. Don't tempt fate. That's always watching.
Well, there's been a couple releases that, like, we had one with a plane on it. It turns out the plane was a real plane, but that plane crashed and killed everybody on board.
Oh yeah,
That was the
the
Altmore.
Altmore.
So there's been a couple. Yeah.
Do you know,
That one was
spoiler
really
alert, you ever hear of a ship called the Titanic? Didn't go well. It didn't
What
go
happened?
well.
Ah,
With Leonardo
Leonardo DiCaprio died. That was terrible.
No, thanks for that. I'll look out for that. Yeah.
It's all right. I don't know a lot about engineering, but you know what? I'll keep you guys right. Just give me a shout. Sorry, guys.
That's why you never have ice in your whiskey, isn't it?
Oh my God! Do you know what you need to put on your next one? Just not to mention Ling again, but the ferry, Belnahua. You've got to put the Belnahua ferry on the next bottle. That would be awesome.
It's a Calmac ferry, isn't it?
It's a council-run ferry. It's not Calmac. It's council-run, so it's fine.
This thing's nuts. It drifts across it's crazy.
Yeah.
You look at it like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Do you know, like on a bad day of weather, like it can't go out. It's just like the teacher gets stuck on the mainland and they just don't open the school. They're just like, you just don't go anywhere. Or like sometimes if you're coming back from your shop in an Oban, like the boat's just not there. You're like, oh shit, like can't go home.
That's like an island problem. It's like everybody else is looking forward to a snow day, but if you've got the teacher can't get the ferry, that would happen nowhere else.
I know. That's it, exactly. And then like in the summertime, all the I was gonna say swans, dolphins. What? I don't understand what animals are. What's wrong with me? Dolphins chase the ferry.
Dolphin is just a swan without leaves. It's all right.
Goose leaf.
I don't know, like why I don't understand what animals are anymore. Like I don't. See, since I started full
If you enjoyed the chat in the last 20 minutes, I apologise for what you're witnessing here because it has gone completely off the full circle. So if you just joined, sorry to you guys.
We were speaking about this the other day, and Mike was like, how it always goes off in tangents. I was like, well, it doesn't always, but to be fair, it probably does always go off in tangents. But it's usually just because I've got completely fucked up a normal sentence. It tends to become something else. But yes, put the Belnahua boat on the label being chased by swans, and that would make complete sense to at least 2 people in the world. No, swans, definitely.
Where did the dolphins come from? I'm confused now.
You said dolphins. You said it was dolphins.
I know, but I prefer the idea of it being chased by swans. It's just a little bit more dramatic. It's like nobody would know.
That'll be the Easter egg on the label.
Yeah,
exactly.
No one will know apart from us.
It's a very, very, very niche joke.
It's never an inside joke.
And you know what? Chances are, unless I watch this back, I'll have forgotten by half an hour what I was even speaking about. So I wouldn't even get it by the time you released it. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about?
It's the swans up here.
It's the swan idiots.
Anyway,
this is the only chat you'll ever see Calmac ferries and feats of engineering in the same sentence as well. Moving on. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Alan Smith, another great question. Do you guys interact with other independents, to learn from them, or maybe trade casks or find out markets and stuff.
Yeah, all the
Yeah,
time.
absolutely.
We'll buy casks from independents.
Cellcast independence.
Cellcast independents where like we've said as well, like we don't really know anybody, so the first people that we knew they were independents, and it's quite a small, group of us compared to worldwide, and it's a really good industry because even though we're competitors, like everybody helps everybody out, and I wouldn't want to see another independent fail, or not bottle something or anything like that. It is a business, but people really help out, whether it's like contacts with casks or exporting or stuff like that. I mean, it's not forthright and that nobody's going to tell you suppliers and things like that, but
still there's a lot of what's the word for it, smoke and mirrors.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of still secrecy, like you keep your kind of cards close to your chest, but everyone's super friendly, and like we are good friends with a lot of other bottlers.
Yeah, and we hope it continues for the foreseeable. So yeah, we speak to bottlers every day. Yeah.
It's that kind of community, isn't it? It's that kind of industry that people are quite forthcoming with information to each other, maybe not to the public, but to each other. A lot of stuff goes on that maybe other industries wouldn't be quite so happy to share.
Well, there's enough for everybody as well.
Yeah, that's it. We don't really see other like bottlers as competition. It really is. There's enough whiskey to go around for everyone.
Yeah,
there is. Yeah, we end up saying it every week, don't we? It's become such a cliche of it's the friendliest industry you can work in. It's like, and every person we've got on every week says it unprompted. It's like, the best industry to be part of. So there's a lot of back and forth. It's good. What were you going to say? Sorry, Mike.
Just exactly that.
Okay.
It's very friendly unless you pronounce Glaschu wrong.
Then the pitchforks come out.
Yeah, and then yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah. I think it's a common theme as well, mispronunciation of names of distilleries and brand names and release names. I think, especially the Gaelic ones, it's open to interpretation anyway, isn't it? Because they're never pronounced exactly how they look.
No, and plus Gaelic's such it's a lost language now. I say lost, there's obviously some people that will be like, it's not lost, we speak it every day, and I get that, but I went to a wedding in Benmekula really recently, and everybody's first language was Gaelic, and they were speaking Gaelic, and like they're Scottish, I'm Scottish, and I had no idea what they were saying. It felt alien.
I know.
Their Gaelic will have been wildly different to like Glasgow kind of Gaelic as well, right?
Yes, it's all different dialects, and it's crazy, but like that, it'd be good. It made me, I came away from that when wanting to learn it, and
you did.
No, it's so hard. It's so hard. It's nuts. Can't even say
a lot of letters in there. It's either not pronounced or pronounced like differently, like B's and V's and things. But even, you're right, it is regional, because we were speaking about this the other day. I can't remember if it was on the chat or if it was just me and Mike chatting, but like the Tor of Eggs new releases, what is it? Something Moyne, which just means of peat. And like when I lived up north, we would call it, so we lived up in Sutherland, where it's like the biggest open peat bog in Europe, I think it is. We'd always call it the Moyne, but then other parts of the west, other parts of the country will call it Moyne. So I think it is regional depending on where you grew up speaking Gaelic, but
yeah,
it's not taught. So I mean, even on Easdale, for example, sorry guys, but just an example, they didn't
bringing it back.
Who even cares about them? Like if they just floated off and fell off the side of the world, we didn't even notice. But they're
such a niche rivalry. It's great.
They're not that bad. But like the Gaelic teacher was American, so they only had one Gaelic teacher because Ling didn't have a Gaelic teacher. And like, so if you wanted your kids to speak Gaelic, they'd have to go on to Easdale. And she was an American lady, and other than that, you'd have to go down into Oban to the Gaelic school. So like even on the West Coast, the funding for it's not great for teaching kids, which it's such a shame. It's a shame.
There's only like in Glasgow 4 schools that teach it. I think it's 2 primary and 2 secondary, or maybe 3, 2 primary and 1 secondary. But they're struggling to get like teachers who can teach Gaelic in different subjects or something. So it's like slowly dying out. Not dying out. People are always going to speak it, obviously, but like in terms of teaching it, it's like they're just not getting funding for it. So, but yeah, it'd be really cool to learn to speak the actual language.
You tried for a while, Mike, didn't you?
Yeah, me and Tony, my wife, it was a lockdown thing. We downloaded one of the apps, Duolingo, I think it was. But we did it separately. We never actually did it to each. Well, we did sometimes do it to each other, where we would talk to each other. And I was terrible at it. I remember words, but not sentences. Tony got a bit longer than me. She got a bit further on, but unfortunately, when reality kind of struck again, and we got back to day jobs and stuff, that kind of fell away. I would love to know more Gaelic, even just simple things to get by would be cool.
Yeah, I think it would be really like, because Julian can speak German, and I've got family in Germany, but I actually found out my dad had long lost family. He had brothers in Germany that he never spoke to, and he only found out during COVID, and that was weird. So now I really want to learn German, and I've said to Julian, I'm going to learn German about 100 times. Still not started.
Like, I think for German, like it's easier for Scottish people because like we pronounce words very similarly, don't we? I think we've got some like the same sounds, I think, don't we? Maybe it's easier than French, for example. And I love the German language because words are so literal. They just describe what they are. Like, there's no ambiguity in German at all.
Yeah. It's just aggressive.
It sounds, they could be asking if you want a cup of tea and you feel like apologizing. You're like,
So did you grow up in Germany, or did your parents German, or?
No, so my parents are both German, but I'm born and raised here. So I kind of grew up just north of Glasgow, a little village called Balfron, if anyone's familiar with it, middle of nowhere. It's kind of close to Loch Lomond. But I kind of grew up speaking German at home, so I've always been able to speak it. It's my superpower at festivals. There's always a German guy at festivals. I can hear it in their accent when a German person is trying to speak English, and I was like, yeah, I know he's German, and then I pull it out, and they're like, wow, it's amazing. I loved it.
For Julian, it's like bat sick.
Mm-hmm. Their English is always so good, though. So working at the distillery, like I did German at school. I've only ever struggled once, and it was a busload of pensioners, and they were from originally would have been East Germany, so they only had German and Russian. They had no English. But everybody else in Germany, like the English taught at schools must be so good because their English is always fantastic. A lot better than my German anyway, so I never need to use it. If you don't use it,
the Germans' culture, they're very practical, aren't they? They're very, if they need to know it, they'll learn it. Whereas in the UK, we're quite laid back. We're like, we don't need to know that. People speak English, so we don't have to. That's their mantra, isn't it? They're very methodical, very focused, and very kind of just, if they need to know something, they'll just go and learn it.
Yeah, the East Germany thing surprised me as well. I didn't know that, but last year I got invited by Glen Rothus to go help them with a tour because they had this Glen Rothus super fan from East Germany that didn't speak a word of English. And they knew that I spoke German, so I know someone that works for Glen Rothus for Eddington. And they got me in, and I got to do the whole tour with them, got to taste all the whiskies. And it's a distillery where you don't usually get to do tours as well, which was quite cool. Yeah. But I was basically, the tour guide was doing her thing, and then I would just say it after and translate it. It was quite cool.
That's awesome. All I know is Vasa, Haifa, and Gersten. That's it. That's my three, and I'm tapping out.
Yeah, so yeah.
This one from Pete Head watching on YouTube. I'll bring it up on the screen so you can try and translate that one.
Eisenbahn, Knoten, Hint. Oh God, something about train, knots, train knot tire. I'm not sure.
This is where we find out this
Eisenbahn,
Julian speaking German's been a ruse all along. What have you been saying to people?
I pick up banknote in there, so I was thinking something to be money.
Yeah. So, well, the first word Eisenbahn is train.
Right.
And then I think the Knoten part is not. Hinuntersteller. I don't know what that is like. Placer under? It's like someone that places something under something. That's the way I'm reading that. But that's meant to be the translation for peat head.
Okay,
Oh, it's
Oh, right. Okay. I thought that was the peat head. Is this? Ah, right. Okay.
the guy who operates the changing points, the train tracks. That's his job title. Imagine fitting that on a badge.
Okay, so I wasn't that far off.
You were pretty close, to be honest.
There's less letters in the description of what it is than in the actual German.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with German, they just piece words together to make a new word, but it's just 5 words in a row.
Yeah, it's like a sentence that describes one thing, isn't it? It's very specific words.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I respect that. What's the point? What's the point in thinking about something else? Just jam it all together.
Yeah. Super. What else have we got coming in from the guys at home? We've got. I think you guys are all just talking to each other, aren't you?
Looks like it.
We have this YouTube community, and it's great because they talk to each other, and it's great for building a community. And then we look at it and think, "Oh, is that a question me?" No. Rick's speaking to Alan and speaking to James, and I think people just go on to have their own little catch up with themselves. They allow us to drift off and talk about swans.
Swans attacking fairies.
There was one though. Alan on YouTube is asking. It's quite cool. I actually had this question in my head as well, but completely forgot about it. So thank you, Alan. Are your tastes aligned, or do you completely disagree on something?
They are. Tastes are pretty similar, to be honest.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, I think they're all. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like we just like whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I think there's some things that we're like. I don't know. No, I think we're generally pretty aligned.
There's never been anything that I've been like, oh, I don't like that, and you do, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Quite similar.
That's quite boring. Sorry.
Yeah.
It makes your job easier.
Yeah, it would be quite interesting if like I hated peat and Julian loved it, and just to see how that would work. But generally, we both love peat, both love sherry, both love interesting weird stuff. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That makes life easier, doesn't it, when you both agree on something?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It makes life easier as well when we both don't like something.
Yeah.
We're both like, we're like, nah.
This is a no.
Yeah.
You do your own tasting notes. I haven't looked at. I haven't seen the bottle properly, so I don't know if it's got tasting notes on it. Do you guys do that or?
Yeah, we always do our own tasting notes. Always trying to throw a little wild card in there as well. Let's see what was it for this one.
There was one.
This one was Black Forest Gatto was my wild card tasting note.
For this one, it was that espresso.
And this one was all wild cards. Sticky toffee pudding. Yeah, it was this espresso was the one I was like, oh, that's something that stands out.
Yeah, we had like the sweets, like old or like cheap banana sweets. There's one for that, wasn't it?
Yeah, what was that called? Banana foam
like
or something.
Banana foam. You know the really rubbish sweets that we get. There's a
foam bananas.
That's another like fun part of the creative process, I don't like.
So by wild cards, is that you guys just throwing something in that actually has nothing to do with the whiskey?
No, like it's like a tasting note that like someone will see and be like, "Whoa, that's weird." Like it's not a tasting note you usually get on like something wild. I don't know. And it's always like an actual note, and it always relates to it, but it'll be something a bit silly. Like what we had before, we had like strawberry ice cream in one, and that was Natali. Trying to remember what all of them are now.
Yeah, there's a couple. Pastel de nata was one, and I didn't know what the hell that was, and I thought Julian was speaking German again.
Portuguese, actually.
Yeah, but it was a Portuguese pastry. Yeah, that's fun though, because we get the samples and we try it, and we're like, oh yes, very nice. Yes, we'll make the tasting notes.
We have a very professional business meeting.
Yes, where we get absolutely smashed. Then go to the Ben Nevis.
Think of funny tasting notes.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good day in the office.
Yeah.
I love your honesty there. A lot of people might shy away from telling us that, but That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I didn't even think about not telling you. So maybe there's a market.
It's nice to see you guys like at the start of your journey as well, though, because like it's obviously, you know, like you're new to the industry, and you know, a lot of the guys watching are. I'm quite new to the industry, so it's nice that I kind of feel like there's a similarity. I'm like, because sometimes I'm like that when I try whiskey. I'm like, what the hell is that? It's a little bit like, you know, like strawberry laces and like, you know, fire.
Yeah.
Like, how do I make that sound nice? It's like, I know. It's good fun. So it's nice to see the honesty, because like a lot of times we speak to people, and even though we say to them beforehand, you know, you don't need to be on brand, it's okay. Sometimes this is naturally part of them because they're so used. If they're a brand ambassador, for example, they just get so used to saying the same thing all the time. It's not their fault. It's just, you know, if you ask them the same questions, you can maybe going to sometimes get the same answers. Whereas you guys, you know, you're very honest about it's a new business. We're still learning. Yeah, sometimes the cask is a bit emptier than they thought. Sometimes the labels come out wrong. Sometimes we've lost the money, and sometimes things taste like espresso and Portuguese pastry. It's nice to see behind a little bit.
I think in hindsight, we've looked back a couple of times and we've been like, we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? But like, you figure things out and you learn more, and you learn the mistakes, and
you roll with the punches.
Yeah, you roll with the punches, and then so we're definitely still figuring it out.
I think there's that kind of industry. Sorry, that it's because there's so much unknown regulations, rules, procedures that goes on, that you think from an outside you can do as much research as you want until you physically do it. It's like nobody knows how to drive a car until you're in the car the first time on your own. You know, you pass the test, you think, oh, I could do this, and then you're like, crap, I don't have anyone to speak to or ask, and that's when you really learn. And I guess it's the same kind of idea where you're, we missed that bit of paperwork and that delays it. Right, next time we won't forget that bit of paper. We'll make sure that's corrected.
Yeah, and like looking ahead, and there's loads of stuff. I mean, if we could go back a year and a half and tell ourselves, then we'd be much further ahead. But it's fun.
Yeah,
got loads to do, got loads to learn.
There's always
you're enjoying it.
Yeah. I mean,
love it.
Yeah, it's good. So but we're looking forward to bringing the next couple releases out. The problem is, like, we want to have so much out because it's exciting to bring out, but you can't bring everything out all at once.
We also don't want to be like 20 releases in a year sort of thing and just absolutely oversaturate it. Like, still got to kind of pick the best ones and be a bit more selective with it.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah. Find it and get people hankering after the next release as well. You know, you put out 2 or 3 bottles, and then people see it sold out, and they're like, "Oh, can't wait till the next one," rather than having their pick of all your bottles. It's kind of you know, demand dictates supply, doesn't it? That kind of idea.
Because we've got some folk that will buy every single one, collecting it. If we start doing like 25 releases in a year, they're gonna hate us.
They're gonna be like, "What's the point?"
I know.
We've got a couple of guys who I think are not from the UK anyway, asking about foam bananas. Bananas. So Alan's put it on as a YouTube chat. It's a kid's sweet. Yeah, it's loosely banana flavored.
That kind of artificial banana flavor, isn't it?
It's like banana milkshake powder.
Yeah.
It is. Leanne's on. Hi.
Leanne from Scotch on the Bayou. Great to see you.
Nice to see you, Leanne.
And I noticed that Sandro is back.
Ciao. Ciao.
Good evening to you guys. Thanks for joining us. Let me have a look just on any other chat. We're getting a whiskey tour of London whiskey bars. If
I see this. Yeah, people are planning their journeys out.
Ben Marnick is asking on YouTube, have you bought direct from distilleries? Is that something that you have done or are planning on doing?
Sorry, what did you say? We've got a sample here that we're going to taste. We're briefly distracted. What was that?
We'll talk amongst ourselves. You guys. are you planning to, or have you bought direct from distilleries?
No, never bought direct from distilleries.
No. We find like a single cask, you pay through the teeth if you buy direct from a distillery.
Like I know that Rassi and things like that sell casks, but they're really small volume and also really expensive. Like I don't know who it is, but someone's got a Rassi 5-year-old that's on shelf just now for like 115 quid or something.
Was that the Berry Brothers?
I don't know. It could be Berry Bros, but to me, like, I'm all for trying something adventurous, but
it's got to be affordable nuts at the end as well. Like,
but like someone might really love Rassi and might try it. So, yeah, buying through distilleries is expensive. So we go grey market,
secondary
market. Yeah. So
because you find like that's kind of how that market is propped up. It's distilleries every now and then will sell, I don't know, 50 or 100 casks to raise some capital, and then they'll trickle out throughout the markets and go to different brokers and so on. Eventually they'll end up 7 years later as a bottling for us or so. Like they'll end up in our hands, and that's kind of how that secondary market trickles out.
It's a great system. I mean, obviously they've had the cost issues in the recent past, but yeah, it's great for the consumer to be able to say, well, I've tried all the core range from Old Pulteney or Dalmore or something. There's an endless array of whiskey out there now for these guys.
If you find a single cask Dalmore or Old Pulteney, let us know.
As soon as I said it, I'd probably pick the two that
Dalmore will definitely be too expensive. Yeah. Every cask I've seen of Dalmore has been wildly expensive.
That's like, we get offered some, like you guys will get the same as well. Like we get offered some just ridiculous stuff. There was one on a list. Remember the Highland Park that I showed you? It was the one was like $1 million.
Oh yeah. Right, okay.
So that's a question for you guys actually. I don't know if you heard that, but we got offered like a 55-year-old Highland Park, and it was from a private collector that was wanting to sell it. And how much do you think roughly that would have been on the piece of paper that he was giving us?
I'll let you guess first, Kat.
No, I'm rubbish at this because I panic just say like £1 million. Like I have no idea. Like you're better at this.
Did you have a gauge? Do you know how much whiskey was in the cask after 50?
It was like RLA of, I think it was 90 litres or something.
So still a fair amount for a 55-year-old whiskey.
Yeah. It's not that 55.
Was it 55 or 35?
No, it was the 50s. 50s. Yeah, it was like 1970 or something.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest and say that I did overhear your mutter.
Damn it! Well, it was, if you didn't, it was 4.2 million. I got offered it for.
I was going low with £1 million. Oh my god!
It was on the sheet. I've still got the sheet. I'll see next time I'm up, Mike. I'll show you. It was nuts, and I was like, so these are the things that we're up against. If you come into this market and you don't know anybody like we didn't, and then people are offering you that sort of stuff, you'd be like, what are we doing? So yeah, it's crazy. You're really gonna know the right people, but that one's probably the worst.
It gets that, like, that whiskey's probably never gonna get bottled and fully enjoyed. Like probably the seller is not gonna manage to sell it, and they're gonna have to just bottle it themselves for their own consumption. But like an indie bottler like us would never be able to buy that and use it.
That's like 130 bottles or 90 odd. So
each bottle will be, well, like 60 grand.
Yeah,
so, I don't know.
That's not including duty.
That's just the cask.
Yeah. So there's another one I saw recently, which was I think it was like a 25 or almost 30-year-old Macallan cask, and its RLA was 30 something, so not a lot left in it, and it was sitting at 42%, and it was still going for 300 grand.
Yes.
I was like, that's a ticking time bomb. Like,
well, yeah,
and that's sudden that might be less than 40 now, and it's useless. Like it's completely worthless then.
Surely that's a case where the buyer has the cards there. Say, well, if you want me to buy it, this is the price I'm going to pay for that. Because if I don't buy it, nobody else is going to buy it that close to. Jesus,
that's mad.
Yeah,
but it's such a pitfall for guys. And in the last few years, kind of since COVID, every time you go on Facebook, somebody's trying to sell you a cask or a broker's list or something, and it's people buy into that, and the public have been so. We get asked a lot of times in the shop, I'm thinking of buying a cask, or what's your advice? And my advice is normally don't. But if you are going to do it, have an end game, have a plan to what you're going to do with the cask after 10 years, after 5 years. Put yourself a plan. Because people think they'll buy a cask and they don't realise the evaporation, the drop in ABV, and then the duty. They think, I'll buy a cask and then my son can take it when he's 18 and that's my inheritance, and then he'll be able to bottle that when he's 25. And you're like, well, that's already like 45 years old. How much liquid's going to be in there? What's it going to be worth? Is the broker trustworthy? You keep it up your insurance payments. And it was such a cowboy kind of way.
There's a lot of charlatans out there.
Yeah.
Like I get all the ads for these things as well, just because of like.
Of course.
Flood's always listening to us, obviously. So I get all these ads for these cask investment companies, and I always like going down their little rabbit hole and filling out the form, and I'll get a call and I'll play dumb as if I don't know anything, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, we've got this amazing brand new distilled Tullibardine. It's only £6,000 for the cask. You're locked in with us for 10 years. You won't be able to sell to anyone. And it's like, this is mad. Like, people will be buying that.
It's scary. It's scary how many people have. And all they're waiting for, a lot of them, not all of them, let's be honest, there's a lot of genuine guys out there who've been around a long time and doing great jobs with brokers and supplying out themselves. Let's not tar them all with the same brush. There are genuine guys out there. And that's why we've been doing your research. Make sure if you are thinking of buying a cask, buy from somebody that you've researched, not somebody who's trying to sell you.
Don't say shop around.
Yeah, they are waiting for you to miss an insurance payment or to forget that bit of paper or to lose the cask, or worst comes to worst, to pass away and in the house flit, your kids are looking through your paperwork and think, oh, that's just a bit of paper with a cask number on it, and throw it out. They're banking on you forgetting about that whiskey because you've paid for it. It's
I just sent you that cask list with the Highland Park on it, Mike. So I got the price wrong. It wasn't 4.2 million. It was 4.5.
See, at 4.2, I was considering it.
The step to 5.5.
So,
what about you?
So we're trying, just bring it back to drinking whiskey. We're trying a cask sample that we got. It's an octave. It's a 6-year-old Altaban that I don't know if it's fully matured in sherry, but it smells
6
great.
6 years in an octave.
6 years in an octave sherry is nuts, but it's super dark. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, so potentially a future release. Maybe octaves for slunge. Yeah.
I'm liking your cut glass Glencairns as well. It's very Western Glasgow.
Yeah, you've got it engraved.
I've got the Glaschu spirits cool on them.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, the engraving's not the nicest quality, so because we were hoping to like hand these out as gifts, but we've got 50 of them that they all don't look that great. so
you want some Glaschu.
They look okay like on a zoom camera, but it's just uneven engraving. It's just not done very well.
See, Mike, I think we need Blether Glencairns because like that'd be like, I think we're missing that. I think we need some merch. We need Blether Glencairns.
Yeah, you need some merch on this.
We do need some merch. Yeah. Some Distillery Cat merch and some Blether merch would be. That's what we need.
We do. Guys, put a comment. Would you buy a Blether branded glass, and we'll get that sorted.
Also, if you want to put together like a sort of crowdfunding thing for that, on you go. That'd also be awesome.
I was going to get back at we were talking about when our phones are always listening, and you talk about whiskey and it comes up with a cast. I would love to see what kind of adverts Kat gets on her Facebook talking about duck leaves and swans. It'd be amazing.
Well,
Do you know what? I think China tapped out listening to me ages ago. She's like, you know what? She's mental. Like, she is not a threat to world security. Let's turn her off.
like, she was that translation and like duck leaves, goose leaves. You should talk about dolphins or swans.
What can we sell her?
What does she want to buy?
Maybe
What's the next version of that?
just confuse the algorithm. Get left alone.
That's what it is. You know, it comes across as idiocy, but actually it's a really superior type of intelligence. I've confused the algorithm. Like, who else could do that? I'm next level. Like,
China's playing checkers, you're playing chess, all right? There's levels to this.
that's it. I'm playing the long game.
Great to see David Stirk is on watching. Good to have you on, David. We had David up last week to do a tasting in-house. Just phenomenal whiskey. I don't know if you've met David, but I'm sure you know of him now.
No, of David. Yeah, obviously. I think we tried a couple of these things. Can't remember where, but they've always been great. So yeah.
Always good. And every one that we had in the lineup. It was actually no pressure if you ever come up and do a tasting with us in-house. It was the most successful after sales tasting event we'd ever had. So
Damn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Challenge accepted. we went to a tasting not long ago where we had like all of our drams there, and at the end of it was a group of very, would you say, vocal participants, and they would tell you, but they give you a rating after, and they're not shy about it, because generally you go to these tastings and like, oh yes, it's good, yes.
It's always kind words.
If it was a 1 out of 10, they would have given you a 100%.
Yeah.
But we fared quite well against some pretty good distilleries, so we're quite surprised and happy at that, which is good.
It was a nice way of getting the feedback as well. That's the first time I've ever seen that in a tasting, where it really was, because it was like a group of 20 guys, and it was really like going one by one what each person's opinion was, and then they gave a rating, and then at the end the number was averaged, and that was our score.
I felt like Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Where were they from? Sorry.
It was a Masonic Lodge.
That was where it was.
Who was that?
I can't remember. But it was good. It was really good.
Glasgow.
Yeah, it was really good taste, and it was good to get some critical feedback.
Yeah.
We had a group of Norwegians over doing a tour with us 2 weeks ago, maybe. And they were very down the middle of that. So if they didn't like it, they would tell you. If they really enjoyed something, they would tell you. And we got some pretty brutal, but also pretty great feedback as well. But you need that, don't you? Especially you guys bottling, because it's. I guess the worst kind of thing is if you got a group of 20 guys to your face saying, "No, this is amazing, this is brilliant." You're like, "Yeah, this is good," and then they go back and tell their friends, off camera as it were, "Don't buy that, terrible." You need that honest feedback, and
and you're only as good as your last release. So, if people don't like your last release, then they're probably not going to buy it. So, you're at the mercy of a bottling sometimes. I mean, did have a couple of people. People get really fussy, especially at festivals. People either love it or they're like, spit it out or whatever. We've had that, but not a lot, which is good.
We find some people kick up a fuss about the age of them sometimes, because we've done like that. Tomental is 7 years old, and our first two were 7 as well. They kind of stuck their nose up at it because it was under 10, and like the Ardley is 9 as well. But we didn't find that. Like, I think 7's fine. Like, if it tastes good, then what's the issue?
Yeah.
No, definitely.
People are growing confidence in younger whiskey, aren't they? They're more whiskey. You'll always have that old school. Call it old school, but traditionalists. You're saying I will never drink. Can't mention earlier people who will never drink less than cask strength. you'll have people just in their own head, they'll never drink less than 10 years old or 12 years old. And that's fine. But they're missing out on such an array of phenomenal whiskey.
Yeah. Like, I mean, distilleries release non-age statements and whiskies that are young all the time. I mean, like one Loch Lee, they've I don't know what age some of their releases have been, but I absolutely love their stuff. I think that's one of my favorite distilleries right now. And if you'd put an age in that, then maybe some people would have turned their nose up at it. But it doesn't mean everything all the time. Yeah. One of the best whiskies that we had, in like 2021, it was it was from this single cask. It was an Inchfad 4-year-old. It was class.
Okay. Awesome. That's really good.
It was class. It was amazing. So yeah, age. Yeah.
It's funny that there's some ages you can't put in a bottle. Like even if you've tried it without an age and people just accept it, but as soon as you write that age on, like 4, it's just one of those numbers people just will not accept. A 4-year-old whiskey would be good. You put 18 on a bottle, even if it's not that good, people will buy it because 18 is a aspirational age. 21 seems to be an aspirational age. 10 just seems to be like the sort of lowest people kind of push it to. But like, yeah, random numbers like 4, 7, 6, people are just like, nah, it can't be. But it's weird. But I think it's just years of marketing and branding, isn't it? It's just trying to retrain people out of that. So it's not necessarily the consumer's fault. It's just what they've been led to believe is better, I guess.
Definitely.
I think it is changing. You see, because there's so many new distilleries. If you're waiting until they all turn bloody 10 years old, you never get to try them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we'd be here for ages. What's the distillery that's waited to basically release 10? It's got the wee green cap on it.
Daffodil. No.
Daffodil. Yeah. Daffodil. Yeah.
No, Ballandalach is the other one that's just launched theirs. I think that was. But there's a few. Harris were looking. I don't think they got to 10, but they were looking at. I think there's a 7 or 8. But I think so many distilleries are. There's a lot of work going on pre-distillation or pre-maturation to make that spirit so good that you don't need to wait in the cask so long. Fermentation is taking a whole new kind of idea of process that people are looking at to get more flavors in. The Willis up on their Borders distillery are also waiting until 10 years old as well.
Yeah. But then you look at Ardbeg, have got the 5-year-old Wee Beastie.
Yeah.
And that's been really popular and stuff like that. So, or is it Wee Beastie? Yeah.
Yeah, yes. It is. It's a good whiskey, actually.
Yeah, and it's good. Yeah. So, yeah.
That might be my next drum. It's a great whiskey. But then I think they get to push the boundaries a little bit, don't they? People accept whatever Ardbeg do. As long as it's got a funny name and a cool label, people will buy it. It's a good spirit as well. But they do get to play around a little bit more. They've got a bit more free reign than maybe some other distilleries do, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But yeah, we're still going to bottle. If it's good, we'll bottle anything.
Yeah.
So
you always have that mantra that you're going to put an age on it.
Yeah, I think we probably would always put the age statement on.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
it's part of the label now. Like, I think if we were to release a Glaschu which didn't have the number, it would just look a bit weird.
Yeah, probably.
It's like, what are you hiding?
Yeah. What is this sorcery?
Yeah. We've got a question coming in again from Alan. Alan, you are full of great questions tonight. What would you guys change about the industry if you could?
What the hell, Alan?
Doing these questions, yeah.
I think
that's a really good question.
Being a bit more, like, at least the whole cask side of things, being a bit more transparent with it. Definitely be something with the bottles.
I don't know. I think people are. I'd like to see a wee bit more open-mindedness. I think people are getting that way, but like we're just saying about the age of stuff, I think there's a lot of people that are still stuck in their ways. They're like, oh, I'll not drink anything from Islay. It's like, right, you had it once when you were 17. You didn't like it. You threw up all over the place. You've grown up now. Try it a wee bit.
Mm.
I kind of want to say that to some people sometimes, but
I
you just
do
can't.
all the time.
You can't get it through some, but maybe just a wee bit open minded because everything's different, and also like your tastes change daily. Like there's some things that you'll drink some days that you're maybe not too into, and then other days you'll love it. So I think maybe just being open minded and trying everything. But that's like anything. That's you can say that about any industry. But that'd be me. Not a lot needs changed. But
I think
I
a
think
lot
your
of
thing was good.
a lot of the well, actually, I'm just thinking around like the whole bottling side of things. A lot of folk are very tight with their rules and everything, and everyone's like a little bit. I don't know. We've been told off a couple of times for things we wanted to do, and I feel like everyone's just so serious. Like,
Yeah, I would agree with. You know what I would do? I would ban Amazon from selling alcohol. That's what I would do.
yeah,
That's
Why?
a good shout, to be honest. Because they're always cheaper than everybody else.
yeah. The supermarket stuff's always cheaper.
Phil Fraser's gone for the boring one. He's gone for price of duty per litre of alcohol. Yeah, we'd all love to see that go down. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, that's true. Reduce the tax. Also, the cruel thing is, like, when we're paying duty on a cask, we actually also have to pay VAT on top of the duty. It's not a tax. It's daylight robbery.
Yeah, well, we won't go down that rabbit hole, but thanks for opening it, Phil. We'll sit around the edge of that.
There's more exciting things coming to the table here. We're getting the full range tonight.
We've got our new Kalila 12-year-old finished.
That's very. I was going to say that's very light, but there's.
It's empty.
Finished in a first fill ruby port for 14 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
14
Good.
months.
Is that one sold out?
No, that one's just released.
It's just released. And so that's the actual liquid color. So it's nice and dark.
I'm in a ruby port as well, actually.
That one's much darker.
Yeah, that looks
Is
dark.
I think it's because the bottle's thinner.
Bottom. Yeah.
It's a Claxton. So this is we're talking. David Stirk was on having a look, and that's a ruby port quarter cask from Ben Rennis.
I don't know if I've got anything. I haven't got anything port. Wait, I really want that.
Love
You're
it.
going to have a 12-year-old Ardmore in there.
Hang on.
This is where the whole shelves collapse.
Those screws were definitely extra. They weren't necessary. We've got Ardmore port finish. We'll do that. We'll go for that. We'll keep it since most of the chat seems to be about Ardmore tonight and animals. Slange. I haven't poured mine yet, but Slange.
That one dram I was going to have as part of the Ockendoshan chat is spiraled. I
see. Yes, it has a little bit. But you know what? It's maybe cured you. Are you feeling better? I am. I was feeling better before we came on. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have stayed on as long. But no, it's been good.
Yeah, see.
Good banter. Good chat.
The whiskey kills everything. So, yeah.
Always good.
That tastes.
So that was the Akolila port cask.
Yeah, we're just
Akolila 12.
It's really good, but it tastes different every single time I try it. So it's probably just everything else we've had, but yeah, I love a Kalila. Really, yeah. It's kind of a one that we wanted to bottle as well for a while because Kalila casks were just too expensive for us when we got in to the industry, and then like we got this, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna bottle this.
Yeah, that's one that you find like the casks are always very expensive.
Yeah,
and that's why I think you see some indie bottlings of Kalila are very pricey for what they are sometimes, and I think it's probably because the cask was so expensive to buy in the first place.
But it's one that most people will have.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, I think you're just going to say the same. You see, most people will have.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, it's always expensive, so I'd never really thought about it that way. Obviously, they're paying more to buy the cask, and then obviously the consumer has to kind of pay a bit extra as well. But yeah, you do see so much of it released independently. But it's cracking. It's really good.
It's really good. Yeah.
It was our favourites. So when Mike did your last shop release year at the Dusk, he took in, how many samples did you take in for everybody to try for the blind taste test? Was it like 6? More?
4 or 5. I think we tried 9 at the warehouse and we selected 5.
So bright.
It's so bright.
It looks like it's like an operating table light or something like that.
Performing surgery on that bottle is it's an important task.
Yeah.
It's
You
like
can also like work out what's wrong with my weird finger with your. Do you have to have the green surgery?
So the whiskey hasn't helped me.
It hasn't. I don't know what I've done to it. Like I don't know. I don't know what I've done to it. Anyway, back to your shop release.
You didn't have a burst pen in your pocket or something, did you? It's just ink stain.
No, it's not. No, I picked up something yesterday. It was like an ashing, like a big plate at work because we had the film crew in and I've had lunch for them. And I think just picking up the heavy plate is just like trapped a nerve, and then it just all swelled up, and it's like a giant freaky finger all day. But now I just feel like I need to tell everybody about it, like a child. Look at my Megan finger, everybody. Like I didn't need to tell anybody about my finger, but I have repeatedly.
You're just getting your weekly request for somebody to come round at your house.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've got any doctors on tonight. I haven't seen anybody offering to help me with my finger tonight. So
don't search Google.
Now that I've just said that out loud, nobody's offered to help me with my finger tonight. I feel like I shouldn't have said that out loud.
As soon as you start searching Google, it will be like you've got malaria or something. You've got 3 weeks to live.
Exactly. You've been bitten by a man-eating swan, or I don't know.
Terrifying.
We're going to say cheerio. Davey Ferguson is going to say good night. Fantastic. Independent Bottling Spirits, keep up the great work. And James and I always get this wrong, Guilio. Hopefully that's as close as possible. He's saying good night. Hopefully see you on the Aquavita Barflies later on, guys. If we do. Kat, if Andrew Smith was on, he's a vet to trade, so he might be able to help you with your finger. It's the closest to a doctor I can think of.
I can't think of any animals that have fingers. I don't know how he would know about fingers, but it turns out I don't know much about animals. So
you know nothing about animals.
Maybe he could help me because I'm out.
Guys, we smashed the 2-hour mark. It's been absolutely fantastic having you on, and thank you everyone at home for your constant questions. It's been such an interactive chat. We've loved having you on. I'm going to call it because we want people to come back every week. So I think there's a time limit, and I think pushing 2 hours might be where people start. And the Aquavita starts in half an hour, so they're going to have to go off and have something to eat and whatnot, get the dogs out for a walk.
Yeah.
So yeah. Watch the space for Blether merchandise. I'm not sure how good it's going to be, but we'll think of something. If it's as good as our band, prepare to pay minimum price.
When you guys have your big exciting new release that you've just teased a little bit, we'll have to get you back on to officially announce it to everybody as well.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Definitely.
So you guys are welcome back whenever you like. It's been really, really good fun.
Well, thank you very much for having us on.
Thank you. Been good.
Stick around for after the chat, and we'll catch up with you.
Stay there for 2 secs.
What is this? We've got a slightly different twist on next week.
So over to you there, Mike. We've had a bit of a calendar back and forth, so I'm going to let you tell everybody who's on next week. Because
So next week we've got Thomas from Morrison Distillers, and he's going to be live in the tasting room at the shop. He's up for the Spirit Speyside Festival, so we thought rather than do virtual, I'm not sure, Kat, if you're going to be virtual or if you're going to be in-house.
As yet undecided, but
everyone, like, which going to be. So Tom's going to be talking about Old Perth, Morrison Distillers, Carmore, Arnig. Oh, that's good. Wait, have my head. Arnegarten. No, it's not Arnegarten. Remind me, guys, at home, Morrison Distillers. I've been there. Is it Arnegarten? No.
No idea.
No idea.
Too sure. Morrison Distillers.
Morrison. There used to be Morrison Mackay, and oh my God, live on the show, it's gone completely out of my head. It begins with an A. Aberargie. It's Aberargie Distillery. It's Morrison Distillers. There we go. So Thomas is going to be on. We're going to talk about loads of stuff. We'll be in the shop, tasting room. So it'd be great to have Thomas over live to chat next week. Until then, if we don't see you in person, hopefully we'll see you on Facebook and whatnot, and we will catch up then. Look forward to having your bottles on the shelves, guys. I know it's taken a little bit longer than we hoped, but it will be within the next few days. I'm sure we'll get that organised. So, Slange right, guys.
Lunch. Nice to meet you guys.
We will catch you all soon. Cheers. Good night.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.